Hello. Today we are going to start out by finishing up this Romaji module parameterization. I did push a bunch of stuff to my GitHub repository, and right now the only stuff that's not pushed is the Romaji parsing stuff because the Romaji flag stuff because I didn't really like the way it turned out yet. And so what we have currently is, let me make sure this is completely up to date. Let me zoom in a little bit too. Okay. So we have this default nomaji config thing, which basically means initialize this nomaji config struct, and I don't uh, like this initialization thing because it's not completely necessary. And I like the idea of all zeros being, or 0 bytes being used to represent the initialization of a struct rather than some other kind of pattern. The reason why I like using all 0 bytes is because when you start to have nested structs or like large amounts of configuration, having things start out at 0 is is much simpler and easier to follow and easier to keep things consistent. So especially if you might like do kind of static initialize, like initialize some global variable that has this as some nested thing, or initialize some other local variable. It doesn't have to be global. So what I want to do is I want to get rid of this and just have everyone initialize this to the correct value. Except when you're parsing flags, then we're going to initialize it to certain values, because when you're parsing user flags, there are certain values that are correct, that are like the correct default, because we don't want to force users to type in lots and lots of flags. So we only really need this default idea when we're when we're parsing flags. But then this can be done automatically. This can be called automatically without just as soon as we parse the first flag. We don't have to make the caller use this explicitly and remember to use it correctly. So I'm going to check out number 5 and create a new branch like fix flag, we'll call it. Okay. So, we actually want to go to 4. Okay. Okay, there we go. So that's where we started the flag stuff. So what I'll do is I will remove this. We know we don't want it. And we'll look for where that default is. We're also going to add a unsigned flag mode thing. So set to 1 when this struct is used for storing user flags. Okay. Okay, so this should probably be down here. The thing is, if I put it down here, I'm going to have to merge all the other changes. But I think that's fine. Really, this should be down here, to be honest. It should not be, it should be kind of separated from everything else. And if it's first, then that's going to mess up alignment, I believe. Or no, but I think that these don't have to be, these are not sorted the same necessarily. I So in other words, the C compiler, if these were not bit fields, the C compiler would automatically arrange them, or they would arrange them in the order that they're declared, and then align them based on byte or word or double word boundaries. And this is this thing is not really a byte a whole byte field, so it's not going to follow these rules of ordering and ordering things in memory the same way they're listed here. But I still do want it to be after the big fields. That just seems more intuitive to me. So putting the char thing first makes sense. And I'm also going to set to 1 do not we could call it internal maybe, or like underscore underscore gets set to 1. So we don't want anyone to set it themselves. So how can we convince the callers not to set it themselves? Like we could add these underscore underscore or something like that to indicate that it's private. Lots of code styles use that kind of approach. I think maybe we'll think of something later. Set by internal to Romaji module. I mean, we could have some kind of a weak map, but no, that doesn't work because this is a struct. Yeah. Okay. So let's just keep it as it is for now. So we'll go to default romaji config, and we'll say parse romaji flag. So we're going to check it if config dash CLI flag mode. All right. Then if not bytes are 0, if they're not 0, then that means the user screwed up. That means the user or the caller set some flags explicitly before parsing user flags, which we don't really support because this function has no way of knowing which if it should change what was set. Like, because yeah, we're not going to support setting the default before calling the parse flags function. I've seen flag systems that do that, where like you set the default programmatically, then you parse them. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to say that if you're parsing, then you're going to use the global defaults no matter what. So if not bytes are 0, then well, we want to say config comma size of config. Okay, then we can say this is a bug. Romaji config not initialized to 0. 0 bytes. So great. Now we can okay. Then yeah, that looks good. So we don't need this anymore. And now we have to make sure that whenever we call that default function, that if we're doing it to parse flags, we just remove it. And if we're doing it to set some kind of to set the defaults programmatically, and then we're populating the rest of the struct programmatically, just to remove that and set all the flags programmatically. So here, let's build. We're gonna say okay. So we got to go free kanji keys.c. All right. So we no longer need this, but we do need to initialize it to 0. Okay. Then we need less rank contained. All right. Now this is for, we're not parsing here. We do want to parse though. Okay, so yeah, this is something I noticed when I was reading the code offline, but we don't we're not parsing here. So else if not parse romaji flags arg c. So this is kind of screwed up. This is not correct, is it? So the way we need to do this is we need to change this after we've recognized the flag. We need to set argc and argv after we've recognized the flag. This is a problem I ran into last time. And okay, so country distribution. Let's see here. Okay. break. All right. Else if not parse Romaji flags. Let's do argc, argv, address of Romaji config. Okay. Do arg. Don't really need this. All right. Okay. Great. So, else if not, okay. Now we need to set this to 0. All right. But we also want to add a test. Last rank contain test. And let's do showing space for potential cutoff. Let's, what is that? Showing space. Okay. We'll call this use, let's see here. We want to use a flag. It's just some arbitrary Romaji flag to make sure that we're parsing it properly in this command. So we'll say no hard-coded kanji numerals, and we'll call this let's see, / no kanji nums 0. What does that 0 mean? 0 means expected. 0 means expected isn't going to be in a separate file. Okay. So last rank contained. Let's make sure this is correct. Okay. Good. Let's try again. Proxy edit. Arg undeclared. Oh. Arg v. Okay, good. There we go. Again, all magic codes. All right, make map dot c. Now we are parsing these, so we don't have to do anything there. Okay, we don't have the bytes or 0 things, and I just remembered I made a mistake here. I don't think I properly initialized this flag here. Config-cli flag mode is 1. Okay. Now we need to get that bytes or 0 function, and put this in. We're going to make this into a here. First, this has to be void, otherwise we're going to have to cast it a lot. So I have char const of equal. Okay. Then let's see here. So we need to expose that. H. Okay. Let's put that. Let's put that here. Okay. Now maybe we don't need the parameter names here, like that. We can just drop them because it's apparent what they mean. And then let's try again. Okay, input test. Now here's an example of we want to set this programmatically, so we don't need to call default. We need to set the values ourselves. So we'll do g config dot see, edit dot c. Defaults are include kanji numerals is 1. G config dot classical is 1. Okay. But I suppose the right thing to do here is to use an initializer list. And I think that's the way you're supposed to do it. Okay, keyboard test. Keyboard test. And okay. Okay. Last string contain test has a syntax error 109. Right, we didn't include a comma there. Okay, let's try again. Okay, last string contain tests. So the problem here is that okay. Problem here is that of course we don't have any we never even wrote the test output, so this is what it should look like. And we basically now have the problem that the numbers will not appear in the numeral position or on the keyboard. They will appear according to their radical and according to what radical they are and stroke count. So we have 2, 5, 1, and we probably have 6 here somewhere. There it is, 6. 7 is probably up here. Yep, there. And 8 is probably near 6, right here. Good. So yeah, this looks correct. So let's just all this was for was to make sure we're parsing the flags properly. So that's kind of trivial. Let's just run it. Okay. All right, we have some differences. Last string contain test. Test out. Why is that failing now? Edit last string contain test. Oh, I see why. Because romaji.c. So okay, yeah, I made a miscalculation here. So if we never try and parse the romaji flags, then this is never going to be set to 1, and we're never going to set these defaults. So that's a bit of a problem, because I don't want to make the callers use a certain order. That's confusing. Okay. So we could have the caller set this. Caller set CLI flag mode. And then when we see that it's set, we check to see if it's been initialized properly. Signed. So we can add this. Unsigned CLI flag defaulted initialized. Right. Okay, and then if we do it this way, then let's put this all in one line. Okay, CLI flag. Now, if we do this, though, we may as well just have an initialization thing. So we could just remove this and say, because we're going to make the caller remember to do something anyway, so we could just say init romaji config for CLI flags. Then we'll do struct romaji config. All right, so we need to kind of fix that. So now we've got to go over here. All right, we'll add this. Right. Okay, we still want to make that an error if it's not been initialized to 0. And yeah, so this is good. So now we need to try this again. Go to now we're going to fix all the tests that attempted to set that flag, which we're no longer using anymore. So free. So some stuff is not working. Let's make clean. Make again. Make. Okay, expected test out last rank contain test. Last rank contain test. Okay. So why is it no longer getting oh right, we don't have that flag being set explicitly. So we do have to go ahead and say init romaji config for CLI flags. Romaji config. All right. Now last rank contain test is not working with typical kogiri to kanji test. Okay, we shouldn't have to change that, so that's strange. Config for CLI parser romaji flags. Let's see what the difference is. Okay, lots of differences. It looks like the kanji numerals were not used because it seems like only these first several lines were changed, the numeral positions. So we include. Oh, we don't support excluding kanji numerals, do we? Last rank contain test does not support excluding kanji numerals. We do some kind of a check in last rank contained or kanji distribution or something. Kanji distribution to kind of look. Here we go. But why? Why is that not working? That doesn't make sense to me. Typical kogiri kanji is. So we're including the one here. So before. So the expected test output has the one there. The actual test output does not have the one there. But typical kogiri kanji should not have the flags changed at all, right? The flags should just be their defaults. So it doesn't make sense that it's like this. What is the test that's failing again exactly? It is last rank contained test. Okay. Edit last rank contained test. So no kanji. No kanji. Start test. Edit. Did I not parse the flags correctly? Maybe these flags are not being parsed properly. Proxy And argc, argv. I don't see any problem there. Omaji for CLI flags. Okay. So how do I want to handle that? Rather, how do I want to debug this? Because I don't see any problem here. Parse omaji config for CLI flags. Okay. Let me look at the differences again in the test output. So we've got 1 and 2 is in the let's make sure I know what the difference is here. Less. Okay. The expected test output has 1 and 2 in here. Okay. Oh, so the expected test output does not actually use the numerals, the hard-coded kanji numerals, I guess. And then if we looked at the actual output, let's see. String contain. Actual output is the numbers do not appear here. Why is that? Okay, last rank contained test. Let's see what I actually changed. Test, no hard. Oh wait. Oh, because the test I updated was the wrong test. I have to revert that change. That's why. I thought that when I was updating this test, I was updating the new test that I added, but actually was not. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, no hard-coded kanji numerals. Okay, so this looks correct. No hard-coded kanji numerals. So we have 1 here, 2, 3. Okay, yeah, this is what we want. All right. I have to fix something. My terminal is very laggy. I'm going to pause the video.